Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Mexico. I'm Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me is, for the first time ever in his career, Veloce Hypers. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to doing it for the first time ever. But yeah, looking forward to today's F2 races before I get to drive in the F1 race.
Now, obviously, it's your first time in the commentary box, so I won't be harsh on you in any way, shape, or form. But are you excited?
Kind of maybe not excited, but interested to see what it is like. So definitely looking forward to it because it sounds extremely fun, but we'll see how it goes.
You're going to be on the other side of it. That's the strange thing is now, you're so used to being in the cockpit of the car, and now you sat on this side of it where all of the commentators' curses get to be applied and you get to be seen as the enemy from here going forwards. And I can't wait for you to experience the sort of stuff we go through. It's quite good. I enjoy it, honestly. The commentary curse, in fact, one of the most incredible ones I remember was Season 3 last year when Lemon was about to take a corner and I called he was going to get a penalty right before he did it because, yeah, that's just what you do, isn't it? And he got it.
Yeah, hopefully I don't curse too many people for their sake. But yeah, we'll see how it goes as we now have qualifying. As we now start the one-shot qualifying. Pole position not only gives you good track position for race 1, but also those 4 points, which might prove crucial as we go into the weekend results. So let's see how it goes.
Who do you want to go on board with for the hot lap?
Who I want to go on board with? It can't be anyone other than Raven Duck, can it?
Yeah, all right, let's
go on board with him.
Yeah. Now this guy has, he has the biggest heart and he has so much determination. But when it comes to on-track ability, he's getting there, but he's still got a long way to go. He's struggled in a few of the F2 races in the past, although he does have the occasional showing where he just, it just seems to click and he gets really, really good, solid results. Obviously, this is Mexico. This is a difficult circuit, and you're going to see where, in particular, it's the S's that most people find difficult, especially me. And we'll see how he handles it.
Yeah, I think especially with those F2 cars, which are way heavier and way more imperfect than the F1 cars. In F1 cars, it's already hard enough to nail the S's, and especially the last sector where you have so many direction changes. So it will be interesting to see how the F2 cars deal with that, considering, they're way... they feel very heavy. They don't have the downforce of an F1 car, so it will be interesting to see how these cars go through all those corners. F1 car is of course made well for the circuit because it has the turn in, it has the direction change that you need. But with those F2 cars, it is way more difficult. I feel like to nail those corners where you need to go left, then right, then left again, and yeah.
Well, it is Kai Bicini who secures pole position and the additional 4 points, as you mentioned a second ago. And already he's starting to show what he has capabilities of when it comes to these F2 cars. He's always been good at them. Today, we're going to hopefully see his... it's been a while since we've actually seen him with these F2, so it'd be great to see if he's been practicing, if he's been getting any good at all in terms of the difference. I mean, he was already great before. Imagine how good he's going to be now. But 3/10 is the gap between him and Piloto, who's P2. Usually, the person you would rely on to get that pole position. Roshko P3, Aviator P4, Tortor P5, Landos Millman in P6 with Joe in P7. That's where we start to break the 1 second margin. We've got Raven Duck there in P8, who we went on board with. Depayne in P9. Marquez rounds out the top 10 with TNMO getting best of the rest. Then it's Foxy, then it's Tiger Jr., then it's Heart of Lapis, then Burrito, then Falsetti, and Azia. The last two did get DQ'd because they invalidated, so they will not have got a time on the board, and they will start from the back of the grid. Now, the run up towards turn 1 is enormous, so don't be surprised if we see a few send it moves going into it. But I wanna chuck you in the deep end. I want to give you the what's the name? Baptism by fire, I think it is. I want to see if you can give me a solid 1, 2, 3 for this.
So 1 for 3. So I'm actually I used to watch a lot of F2s, Rwagnation F2 races. Every time before Arnold F1, I like to tune in, watch one of the races. And I've definitely seen Piloto being really quick in all of the F2 races so far this season. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do. But we of course have Kai, who showed good pace in the race in the qualifying session before. So I think these two are gonna be 1 and 2. I think Piloto might have it. So I would say Piloto P1, Kai P2, And then it's actually hard to say who is P3 because it was a bit closer down there. But I think those F2 cars, it's not as easy to overtake in them. So I think I would go for Rushko. So I'll go with the P1 Piloto, P2 Kai, and P3 Rushko.
All right, so the same three as we've got, just in a slightly different order. Good, fair, little prediction there. I mean, Kai is a very fast driver, and I really want to see him succeed. I want to see him get back his confidence that he seemed to have lost in previous races. He's got the talent, just needs to unlock it. Piloto has been very hit and miss. I've seen a lot of times where he's been very quick on the circuit, but a few just mistakes have been made on the circuit that have made him to fall further down the order, and in some cases actually caused him to lose not just that race, but also the whole race weekend. So he's got a lot to try and prove back to himself. Whereas Roshko, he's been very unlucky. I'd probably say he's one of, if not the most unluckiest person in these F2 cars. I've seen him be incredibly fast, and he'll just get us caught up in things. Not necessarily his fault, but yeah, it's a shame. Then you got Aviator, very quick driver. It does tend to be the one who will get a little bit too stuck into it, get into the inside of someone and maybe run it a little bit too wide. And a similar situation is for Tortor. He can be a very fast driver, again, but just gets caught up in things and some slight mistakes. Sometimes maybe the pressure just gets a bit too much for him, and it can all go wrong. But here we go then, around the final corner to prepare ourselves for the race. It's going to be Kai Bacchini who's going to be leading us away, and it's going to be a mad dash towards turn 1. Who is going to be race leader when we get to we've got 10 laps of this Mexican circuit. Okay, you've really got a lot to do today to hold Piloto back.
Alright, I think I'm gonna leave you to the start procedure or start commentary. So I'm gonna leave you to it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. There we go then, they are now in their grid boxes. The lights will appear right now. And again, remember, this is a mad dash towards turn 1. It's going to be Piloto who's going to need to get the start of Dreams, and I think he's got it. No, he hasn't. It looks like Kai's managed to get away beautifully. He's actually had a problem there. Aviator's up there. Torto's up there. Roshko has dropped down like a stone. He's down into P6 now. And we are going so many wide coming in towards turn 1. I think Kai's actually done such a good launch. He's held everybody back, but there's a lot of diving going on. Depayne down the inside. No contact. Kept everything clean. A lot of people running wide there through turn 1. Lots of cars coming together towards turn 2, but I can't see any damage, at least from the top 10.
There was a car sandwich in turn 2 there, and Azir, TNMO, and Taiga back to the back of the grid. Don't know what happened there. I think one of the cars just got sandwiched between the two, and none of them could steer back to the track, and they were off.
Toto's had a 2-second time penalty for colliding with Foxy MW, so that's a bad situation to be in. Has he got any wing damage to go with it? That would be even more heartbreaking if that is the case. I don't see anything. Yes, left end plate has gone, so he's going to struggle with right-hand turns, and you're going to need that aerodynamical grip when you come into this section of the circuit.
It's already the cars already don't have that much downforce. So with wing damage, he's gonna struggle, especially to keep up behind other cars in that SS section. And you need to be able to keep up with the car ahead because you only have then 3 corners, and then you have the long straight, and you want to get as close as possible out of the SS. So if he's gonna struggle there, he might have huge issues to get past people as the race goes on.
Bacchini comes across the line and sets the first fastest lap, of course. Oh, big wobble from Ravenduck! Not Ravenduck, sorry, Forsetti. And Torto's gone off into the wall as well. That was a big smash into the wall. I think he's going to try and get into the pits. He's just got enough to get there. It will slow him down even more, but my word, that was a mistake and a half. As Forsetti is lucky to still be alive, considering the way he went through the final corner.
Yep, so a very messy start, as I think it's quite usual for these races to have those little bit more scruffy starts, but Kai keeps the lead. Aviator had a really good start.
Who was that? Was that Dave? No, it wasn't. Somebody's had a massive crash. I didn't see who it was. Is it Azir? Who is it? Yeah, it is Azir. He had a massive crash coming out of turn 3, sorry. He just went straight up into the wall, and he's lost his entire front wing. So we were talking about you need all the aerodynamical grip. He needs any aerodynamical grip.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying. Aviator had a really good start. I actually stayed on board with him for the race start, and he got a really good getaway. He jumped Piloto and Roscoe, who had a shocker of a start. He got past them straight away, and now is chasing after Kai for the race win.
Kai's already pulled quite a large gap already. Jeb actually getting a nice little move done on TNO, I believe that was, and Brito Bandito there as well. So Jeb up to P11, not yet in the points positions. It is going to be the top 8, remember, that get flipped and reversed as we go into the next sprint race. So they're going to need to make... Oh, that's a mistake from Tiger Racing. He's gone off into the wall on the left side. Wouldn't be surprised if he chucks himself into the pits. He's actually not. He has lost it. Oh, yeah, there he is.
No, he is in the pits, yep.
There's just a very wide berth coming into it. Piloto and Aviator, they're going into it towards turn 1, but it's going to be Aviator who's going to keep it ahead. Big lock up on the right side. It's going to cause a little bit of tyre warmth. Hopefully it won't affect him at the moment. If you can keep the tyres under control, let me just have a look. Yeah, he's kept the temperatures under control. They're not too high. It was a bit of a lockup, but he should be okay.
Yep, and Kai seems to be pulling a huge lead over Aviator. It was 1.6 the last time I checked, and it's up to 2.8 already. So he's absolutely flying at this stage, showing that he has the pace in those F2 cars. Again, I think what's interesting about these cars is if you are quicker than someone in the F1 cars, it doesn't mean you are quicker in this. So it's definitely a good opportunity for some people to really show the skills, maybe in a different car. Because I remember doing a couple of those after races. Yeah, what happened?
Burrito Bandito just had a very unsafe maneuver through the corner, and TNMO had nowhere to go and went straight into Burrito. As a result, now he does have wing damage, especially on the right side. That end plate has gone, and yeah, that's going to be massively hindering his race from here on out.
Yep, Kai up to 3.6 seconds ahead, and Aviator seems to be creating a bit of a train behind him. There are, what, 5 cars in it, with Roshko at the back of them. My prediction for his P3 really doesn't seem to be successful right now, as he had that shocker of a start, but this is a huge train for P2, as Piloto is making a move on Aviator.
Yeah, he needed to get past. It was very much like you said, Aviator holding the train together. And that's now allowed Piloto to run away a little bit. He's going to have DRS again on the next straight. Roshko and Lando's Movement actually having a little bit of a moment together. Roshko is back ahead now. So up in a P5, trying to get himself back into the P3 prediction. The Hypers has put him in, but that gap has extended. It's 1.5. He's not got the DRS he needed anymore. He'll have it here because he had it before. Aviator's had a big lockup as well, and that's a mistake. Depayne now trying to find how he can inflict Depayne onto Aviator and see if he can find P3 in his pocket. Not yet, though.
Yep, and I think Kai's in a really good position because he got himself out of that train behind Aviator, and now he has that 3.7 second gap, and he can really just chill till the end of the race now. He can let Piloto close up a little bit, but I really doubt Piloto has the pace to close up 2.7 seconds, and you know, closing up to the DRS section is one thing, and then overtaking is another. So I think Kai just got himself a really good first few laps, and if he drives this well till the end of the race, I'm pretty sure he has the race win in the bag.
Toto and Tiger Jr., they're scrapping for P16 as it stands, and it was a very close moment between the two, but they kept it respectable and have kept it clean, and that's what matters right now. Depayne on Aviator. Aviator will not have DRS to the car ahead, whereas Depayne will. The gap is about 4/10, so it's now dropping a little bit more. There should be a pass here from Depayne, but it might have to happen in the braking zone if Aviator can keep himself alongside. No, he cannot. He's still looking for a potentially late break. He's still trying to keep it there, but it's caused him a little bit of a mischief there, and he's actually fallen back to P4. He will still have the tow that he needs on Depayne, but Depayne having the DRS means he can just secure this position.
Yep, so Aviator falling back. All we needed is the DRS to be enabled, and when you're struggling for pace and you don't get those exits out of the last corner, you're gonna be sitting there on the straight. So Aviator really losing positions here. We saw that from his pace at the start. Kai was pulling away massively, so I would be really surprised if he wasn't passed at any point this race. So Aviator dropping back, and yeah, Piloto and Depayne up to the podium positions.
It's already starting to get good, and we're only halfway through. We'll see now how Kai handles the situation, because he's 3.7 ahead of Piloto. Piloto is usually the one you would put as the favourite to win the F2 races. Oh, the mistake there from... Did Roshko just allow Landos to come back through? He just suddenly backed off. I'm not seeing any wing damage, so unless there's something wrong with his car, or if he's distracted by something, maybe? Maybe for the DRS. That's a good idea. Yeah, good idea.
I guess Roshko would be vulnerable to Lando on the straight, so he just decided to let him go strategically to get that position back now. But I haven't seen what happened either. So
he has now just activated DRS, but he had it going for such a long time before he actually then decided, okay, I'm going to activate. Alongside that, he was actually pretty close to Aviator in terms of in terms of the gap before, that's a big penalty. It's going to be
and he got a penalty.
Pretty hard.
Oh, so did Lando. They both got a penalty at the same corner there. So they are now equal.
It's Tiger Jr. who's had a bit of an issue there in Sector 2. Caused himself a bit of a mischief. TNMO in a similar boat. He's also had problems as well. I believe that was TNMO. Let me just go double check. It was not. I think it was Ravender. It was Ravender. I mean, he's kept his wing intact, but he struggles with the acceleration of these cars in the lower gears. When you're trying to get the speed out of the corners, he's just a bit too heavy-footed, and that causes back end to step out. You know, the counter to that is just short shift. You know, apply your throttle as you normally do, but just short shift faster, and then that hopefully should counter it out. Or just be gentler on the throttle is probably the best option. But there is a scrap right now for P7. This is actually an interesting one because you don't necessarily want to pass unless you absolutely have to. The point gain you'll get between P7 and P8 is really not that big a deal. But when it comes to the next race, you will actually start on pole position if you're in 8th place. So you've got to argue yourself, like, where is the benefit here? Do I just stay P8 and just get that race lead for the next race? Or am I all about the glory? Am I all about trying to gain as many points as I can? And just going for that pass. Foxy giving a bit of a weave. Oh, defense down the inside. He's on the grass. Got nowhere to go. Oh, wow. That was so scary for Forsetti, but he still made that work. He's still ahead. That was very much a Perez moment.
Yeah, and as you were saying about whether it's worth overtaking or not, these guys really need to watch out to not crash, because if they crash, Marcus is right there, and losing 8th position for 9th. So if you get overtaken by a driver in P9, you lose pole position for the next race. So these guys really need to watch out here, not lose too much time, because Marcus is there and he'll be looking for these opportunities because he wants to get into that top 8. He wants to start in that reversed part of the grid for the next race. Sky gets a penalty, so Piloto now, if he pushes, he doesn't need to close up 4 seconds anymore. He only needs 2 more, unless he's got a penalty that I don't know about.
Well, that's the thing, you know. Kai is actually so far ahead at the moment that penalty won't actually change the results as it stands, but one more of those and immediately he'll be out of the race win position. Piloto, again, is somebody who does get penalties. That's my concern. He can't always keep it as clean as he needs to. There is a fight here for P3 as well. Depain is ahead of Aviator, but look how much closer Aviator is to the back of Depain's car. He's got the wing wide open. He's going to go for the move early, and he's going to have DRS for the second straight. But ultimately, this position has been secured, unless Depain goes for a mammoth of a dive in towards turn 1. He's decided against it, and I think that's probably for the best.
Yeah, and I think you're gonna see a lot of those moves over today's evening in both the next race, this race, and the RNL F1 race, because as long as you just get that exit out of the final corner, you get close behind the car ahead, it's the simplest move of your career. So, yeah, Aviator seems to be, he dropped back a little bit to Piloto, but he seems to be keeping the pace. Oh, as they're going side by side to this little square double right-hander. Who is that going wide? That was Aviator going wide. They're still side by side. Yeah, and I think Aviator has the position. Yep, he does. There's no way you can overtake in those S's, but Depain might set up a move onto the straight yet again.
Tiger Racing and Lapis having a little bit of a pass there on the home straight. That is Joe getting ahead for now. Lap 8 of 10. Still opportunity for Lapis to get back into that P12 position. Although, remember, this is not for... Oh, is that Aviator's made a mistake? He has. He's lost control of the car. Lando's Melvin is in a bit of a pickle there. Where does he go? That is Aviator dropping a P5. Fossetti's going through, so he's going to drop to P6.
Oh, Foxy I think he has a lot of wing damage.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of wing damage on Aviator's car.
Oh, and I think massive penalty to go with it.
Yep, he just went straight through the stadium. I don't think he's too happy about how this race has went so far, but he has 2 laps to go, so he's doing the right thing here. He is staying out, hoping that maybe despite the damage, he can stay in top 8, because if he pitted there, he would have dropped outside of top 8, and with that damage, he might just about have a hope of staying in top 8, because Jeb, who is in P9 right now, is 13 seconds behind P8, so he might have a chance of staying in that top 8 and securing a good position for race 2.
Kai has managed to break himself to a 4.5 second lead right now, so even if he does get another penalty, he should be all clear from Piloto, and life should be good. So it all looks very good for Kai Bacchini. It's not looking great for Aviator though. We saw, I'm told that he was, there was an incident with him and another car, so there's It's a bit sad. I'm assuming that it was Depayne, because that was the only person that was near him on the circuit at the time. Foxy is trying to recover and climb even further up. From P7 now, might get P6, especially with the Aviator's wing damage and the massive penalty he's got. Surely this is Fox's position to gain.
Yep, Aviator in a bit of a tricky spot now because he has the penalty, he has the wing damage, and he needs to manage the gap, and he can only pray that he can stay within the top 8, and I think that's what he's trying to do now. As I just checked the race director, Piloto also has a penalty, so there isn't really any chance for him now to overtake Kai under penalties, unless Kai gets another one and he would have to make a massive mistake on this last lap. And by the way he's driven so far this race, I don't think that's happening. And if he can just bring it home, he will have the race win in the bag.
Yeah, it's been a really solid performance from him from the get-go, really. He's had the pole position, which helped him massively. You know, starting off the race in the race lead, you'd have thought with the tow that you get all the way up towards turn 1, like in Russia, for example. You know, it's so easy to lose that position, but he just got such a killer start, took off, and no one could keep with him. Even Piloto was struggling to do anything about it, and he just got bogged down, and yes, he's back to where he was before, but still, sad times and disaster. More disaster for TNMO as he's gone off now into Sector 2.
He's just doing donuts, I
currently
think.
doing donuts, yeah, I think he's a bit frustrated.
I don't think his race went as it should have, or as he wanted it to. But yeah, we see Kai now just nailing the last sector. I think I mentioned it earlier in the race. If you can just get that head start, pull a bit of a gap to everyone, you should be perfectly fine for the race win if you have the pace for it. I didn't have to worry about anyone behind him in the DRS, and he takes the race win for the feature race.
Very well done, Kai Bacchini, to secure the race win here. Piloto will take P2, Depayne will take P3, but that's before penalties are applied. I'm not sure if Depayne has many, if any. He might actually still be able to secure it. We'll see as they come to it. Oh, Tortor's had a big wobble there. Lapis in an opportunity to pass Tortor out. Whilst he has the DRS available to him, he's using it currently, but Lapis has got the run. We'll have to just keep it nice and tidy. Focus on the corners and should hopefully make it to pass Tortor later on. Unfortunately, just gets a bit too heavy-footed and the back end steps out. But it is Depayne who finishes P3. It's Lando's Milman who finishes P4. Fossetti gained 5th. Foxy gained 6th. Marquez 7th. Aviator 8th. And that's where we'll get a flip and reverse as we go into the next race. Jeb getting P9. Russia getting the final point. And Ravenduck getting best of the rest.
Alright, so my prediction wasn't right in any way, which is sad to see. But yeah, a very scruffy race. Definitely a lot of incidents, a lot of contacts, and we might see more of those as we have the top 8 reverted now. So probably Kai and Piloto, who had really good pace throughout the entire race. I think they're going to be flying through the field, and it will be very interesting to see how they do that.
So yeah, definitely. This is the bit now where we're going to see how, obviously we've seen how good they can do when they were starting off at the front. When they're now starting in P8 and having to work their way through the field, that's where we start to see issues crop up, you know, when there's, especially going in towards turn 1. Turn 1 is the biggest spot for overtaking on this circuit. We're going to see it in the F2s in the next race, and we're going to see it in the F1s for sure when we come into it later this evening. I think it's going to be very hard for the likes of Kai, for Piloto, and even for Depayne to work their way through the field and still avoid contact with anybody on the circuit. It just gets so clustered going into it. That's where the issues lie. But here's your rundown then at the end of the race. Cabicini getting the win. Piloto getting P2, but he does also get the fastest lap, so he gets 2 points for that, and that's why he's now got 20 points. But Cabicini will finish this after the first race. He's got 29 points in total, so he's got a pretty solid lead as we go into the next race. Depayne gets P3, Landers Milman P4, Fossetti P5, Foxy P6, Marquez P7, Aviator P8. Remember, that's a flip and reverse, so it'll be the top 8 swapping places. Jeb in P9, Roshko P10, Tiger Racing P11. Actually, I thought it was Ravenduck who was going to get best of the rest, but no, he had a hell of a penalty then, if that's the case, to drop him down to P12. So Tiger Jr. P13, Tortor P14, Lapis P15, Burrito P16, and your DNFs are Tinamo and Azure.
Yep, so that is the feature race, and let's go on to the sprint race, which I think will be, at least in the top 8, we'll see a lot of moves because I think if Piloto, let's say Piloto can still win the weekend overall, if he can just get through the field better. I think we saw that multiple times in the F2s that if you can just get through those a bit slower drivers ahead of you, if you can do that more efficiently, quicker than your rivals, then you're gonna gain loads of time. So I think Piloto, if he just puts a good race together, makes all the moves at the right time, he still has a chance of winning the weekend overall. But it won't be easy because Kai will be starting right behind him.
So we're just waiting for Tinamo to load in and advance. Obviously, the cars are on the circuit right now, already thinking about how they're going to attack this, because obviously they're in very different positions than where they were in the last race. So now it's Kai Puccini, who did win the last one, down in P8. Piloto, who came second, is now in P7, and so on and so forth. But when you look at the tyre strategies, there are quite a varying set of tyres here. Softs for the most part, but there are about 6 cars that have super soft tyres on. They're starting from P10 onwards, so these guys will have pace. It's a question of, are they going to be able to take these tyres to the end of the race without losing a lot of pace? I've not once seen anybody get a puncture in these F2 cars, but that doesn't mean that the tyres don't just lose a lot of grip, especially the super soft tyres.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how exactly the tires work in terms of F2s, but what I know for sure is that if you push the tires a bit too hard, or if you stretch them a bit too far, they can really overheat very quickly, especially in the SS section that needs a lot of turning. There's lots of load on the tires, so especially in the latter stages of the race, I think out of the S's, the super softs might be burning from overheat. So yeah, we'll see how they do, but for what I'm sure is that they're gonna get a really good getaway, and maybe that will pay off in the end. But we'll see if the softs prove to be the better strategy. As you said, the super softs might just burn out towards the end, and this is where the soft runners might strike back.
Yeah, exactly. So the run in towards turn 1 is going to be a big one. This is an opportunity now for Roshko, Tigerus, and Raven Duck to really get in some places with that extra bit of grip to start them off with as soon as the lights go out. Foxy doing his usual formation lap things, getting around the track as quickly as possible. I think he's got like his own, I may not win the race, but I will win the formation lap. He did, and it was Marquez that was there with him to try and scare him a little bit. Aviator will assume P1 position to kick us off. 7 laps here in Mexico. Kai Puccini, can you get yourself back through the field, get back into race win? We've not yet had, excuse me. We've not yet had anyone get a perfect weekend, and we're not going to get it again today because Piloto got the fastest lap, but I've seen people get very close. The only thing that Kai would have been missing, if he can win here today and get the fastest lap in this race, the only thing he would have missed would be the fastest lap in the first race. We'll see now. Aviator, how good are your starts here? And it's go time. Aviator's going to be away. Marquez is going to get bogged down a little bit. And that's immediately going to be allowing Foxy to climb a position. And he hopefully can gain something more than that. As Landos Milman's in there too. He's side by side as it stands. I don't think he's a side by side with Foxy, but look how much they are spreading out now as they come closer towards turn 1. Lots of movements, lots of wobbles, lots of scares, but no major contact through turn 1 for the top 10. Looking at the backfield, we've seen a car that's gone off. That is Tinamo, I think. Burrito Bandito getting a penalty for colliding with Tinamo. I know he had collision earlier as he had a really unsafe rejoin of the circuit. Landos Milman and Piloto are still going at it. Where's Kai? Kai's up to 4th. What a start.
Yeah, Kai really put himself in a good position. He took the slipstream off. I think I'm not exactly sure who it was, but he took the slipstream of one of the cars and just flew by a couple of cars on the run down to turn 1. And now he made another position, so he's up into P3 already. Piloto down in P5, still has Foxy out of him. So I think Kai really did what he had to do. Get a good start. Now he just has 2 cars between himself and the race win.
So far, so good. We've had no retirements, but we have had some cars falling to the back. Raven Duck, I think, has got wing damage. I'm just having a quick peek at it now as he comes through the S's. Yes, he does. Left end plate is missing. Lapis has kept it completely clean. She's doing well. Burrito Bandito, we saw, had a penalty for colliding with TNMO, and he actually avoids damage somehow.
Yep, as we now see, oh, my game was saying that Kai is 7 seconds behind Marcus. That's surely wrong. I was about to say, oh, the gaps have spread out a little bit, but no, Kai making another important move. He's now up into P2, and he has all the time in the world now to catch up to Aviator, as Marcus, Piloto going wide there, cutting the chicane, and he gets a 10-second time penalty, doing a little Max Verstappen from 2016 here. And he's now down into P4 and has a huge penalty. So his hopes of beating Kai in the overall weekend results are slowly fading away.
Well, yeah, I think that's the biggest dent he's probably going to ask for. You know, he was 9 points away from being able to beat Kai Puccini. He would have needed to get at least P1 to really secure it if Kai Puccini was still to score some points. Depayne and Jeb, they've had a moment, or at least Depayne has for sure. Who's that with him? Foxy, I believe it is. Yes, it is. They've both had an issue and a half. Wing damage on the right side for Foxy. I think Depayne has the same thing. Yes, he does. So no end plates on either of those two cars on the right side. And that's a major, major issue for them.
Yep, again, getting tangled up in those incidents, especially when the races are so short. These races are barely more than a 5-lap race, and they just like, if you get damage of any sort, you spin, you pretty much have no hope of coming back to the front of the field. So not avoiding these mistakes is a mistake. You know, it's just so important to keep your nose clean, and if you just have the pace and keep your nose clean, you are on a good way to win. As Kai is right on the back of Aviator already. He is flying.
He really is, but I have been told, I've not seen them myself, but I've been told he's got 7 seconds of penalties. I don't know how, although doing that might get you some penalties. Very wide run there through turn 3. He's got an exit of Dreams. He hasn't got DRS, even though we are on lap 3, and a bit of a flick there, going back into the inside. Heavy lockup. He's going to go into the side of Aviator, but nothing too drastic. Just cutting the apex a little bit there, and Kai will take race lead.
Yeah, leaving very little space there on the inside of turn 5, but yeah, Kai up into the lead, and he's having a perfect race so far. Gained 4 positions before turn 1, made those important moves, and it's not even end of lap 3 yet, and he's already into the lead. And from what I saw last race, I'm muting myself, great. From what I saw last race, I think Kai, with his pace, is gonna be absolutely flying, and maybe, who knows, taking the win again.
I mean, he's very much in prime position to do so, but I have been told, like I say, he has got a lot of penalties. So if that is the case, he is going to need to take off like a rocket. And the thing that's not going to help him, he doesn't have DRS. I think Aviator hasn't secured DRS. Oh, he has. Aviator has managed to get DRS. I think it's going to be all for nothing, really. I don't think he's actually going to get back under that 1 second margin when we get past the first 3 corners. We'll see as we come towards him in just a second. Jeb and Tortor, they're going to swap of places. Tortor is ahead. Jeb's going to try and sit on the back of him as much as he can. Toto having a bit of a flick there. You could say that's, I mean, yes, Jeb's not going to get the move. Oh, who is that? Azia! Down the inside. Big send. It backfired massively, but that was a very ambitious move.
Yeah, that was a 7.5 there into turn 1. I think he just misjudged his braking point. I don't think he meant to do that because he was way too far behind. But worth mentioning, Toto, he's the one to look out for because he is on those super soft tires. So let's see if the tire advantage gives him any. If the tire advantage gives him pace advantage as this race goes on. Considering he started a bit further down the field, he's doing a great job right now in P7.
Oh, there's a fair bit of pushing and shoving between Foxy and Azia. It looked like it was more just mistakes rather than intentional. Foxy's managed to get a penalty due to corner cutting. I think he's had a couple of those already, so that's not good news for him as it stands. 3 laps to go, 4 if you include the remainder of the one they're on right now, and Jeb and Roshko swapping places. That's Roshko up to P8, Jeb falling to P9, and that's now outside of the points. Remember, the top 8 are the only ones who get points here.
Yeah, I think Foxy really getting into this battle, trying everything he can to stay in that battle. There was a bit of contact, but he keeps it straight. But he is getting those penalties. He has throwing damage that maybe makes him understeer out of the corners, and that's what's getting him those penalties. And as I said multiple times, if you get throwing damage in already very understeery cars, you can forget about having any good pace. As Piloto is now up into P3, I don't know when that happened. Marcus and Falsetti having an interesting fight because Marcus is lagging all over the place, so I can't really tell where he is right now. But Falsetti up into P4, Piloto still yet to get past Aviator, and Kai seems to be running away with it. But we'll see. We'll see about those penalties that were mentioned. I was looking for a race director. I couldn't see any penalties for Kai, but maybe I missed something. So Piloto's still in this fight.
I've also not seen any of these penalties myself either, but I am informed that he has, so we'll see. I may, maybe false information, but I guess we'll find out later. However, Roshko and Jeb is really taking the fight to these people now. This is good news for him. Roshko having to take the run-off road there just because of the fact he had nowhere to go. He didn't want to have an unsafe rejoin on the circuit, and he does not get in trouble for what happened. Jeb having a little bit of a nudge there into the back of Roshko. Roshko is now out wide with Tiger Racing trying to slip down the inside, but he's got Tiger Jr. right behind him as well. A little bit of contact. Oh, no! There's more damage for Joe. He gets just a little bit of a tap into his gearbox from his son.
Oh, and that's Tiger Racing spinning. I think he just touched someone on the braking. His car got unsettled. There's carnage everywhere. Insane scenes going on here from, what was it, P8 to P14 or something. So many cars trying to go side by side everywhere. And as you see, that doesn't usually work. Azir and Tiger Racing still side by side trying to get the toe of TNMO and Tiger Racing still side by side trying to get the slipstream of Azir. It's just carnage from top to bottom.
It really is. Oh, and there's TNMO going around the outside. Is that a bit too of a tight move then? That's Azir. They're getting away with it a little bit. Contact there from Joe just slightly. It's pushed TNMO off wide. He has a back end step out, but he's kept it all together. Piloto in with a chance of passing Aviator, but remember, Piloto has a huge penalty, which is going to be applied to him, so he will fall down the order no matter what. Yellow flag sector 1, that is Burrito Bandito having an issue, and he's spinning those rears pretty hard as well. TNMO also having the same, and he's retired again. That's 2 races in a row where he's not been able to finish.
Yep, not a great weekend for him, as Sky is about to start the final lap of the race. Piloto has one chance here, I think, of overtaking Aviator ahead of him, which still won't mean much because he has a huge penalty to his name. So Kai should have this one in the back, as Aviator, I think, also has a few penalties. Yeah, a carnage of a race so far, and I think, to be honest, I expected it. The grid is kind of mixed up, and you see those faster drivers trying to get past those a bit slower drivers, as Piloto is doing exactly what I said. Trying to get a move on Aviator and hoping that he can pull as much of a gap to the cars behind as possible, because, again, he has a huge penalty to his name.
So Aviator hunting down Piloto, trying to recover the position he's just lost. Piloto 2.9 seconds away from Kai, and Kai now looks like he's in a position where he has secured the race win. I think the fastest lap still goes to Piloto, so not quite the perfect weekend, as close as he could have been anyway. Still really solid performance by Kai. This is incredible. Gets qualifying pole, gets race win number 1, looking to get race win number 2 as we're on the final lap. We've got Roshko and Jeb. They're still going at it. This time it's Jeb that's in the lead, and we haven't got another DRS zone. So if Jeb can hold this together, Roshko's going to stay P8, and Jeb will actually secure a few points to his name.
Yeah, that's a good race from him, and we see like many people who had a bad first race, they really seem to recover well in the second one. Roshko on his super soft tires. To be honest, I expected the super soft tires to be better, but I haven't seen any super soft runner really make up lots of ground. Like the pace advantage with the super soft tire wasn't that impressive, as Sky takes the win, second win of the weekend, and he's comfortably taking the win of the entire weekend.
Falsetti, P2. How did he secure that one? Look how close it is. Oh, that was a massive corner. Who's that? Was that Depayne? Is either Depayne or it was Foxy?
I think
Foxy
it was Foxy.
Goes straight through. Oh, Depayne having a bit of a tank slapper there. I mean, Foxy's going to drop like a stone and be way off the order there. Depayne up now in a P9. Azir goes P10. And Foxy, whilst he did cross the line, P9, will drop way down the order to P12.
Yeah, Falsetti really showing that slow and steady wins the race. Really good performance from him. No penalties to his name, and that gives him a lot of positions at the end of the race. So I think this is always gonna be the case for Mexico. It's so easy to cut that if you just keep your nose clean, you're always gonna gain a position or two. And very solid race from Kai, and a deserved win in the overall weekend results.
We'll get the exact figures as soon as we can about the overall weekend, but yes, it is going to be Kai Bacchini who takes his second win. He's won everything this weekend. You know, he's got the the qualifying, he got the race win in the first race, he got the race win in the second race. The only thing he was missing to make it a perfect weekend was just the 2 fastest laps. But Dave Fossetti Tate somehow snatching P2 in this second race is incredible. Very well done by him to achieve that. Let's go and get these results that we need to see. All right. So at the end of that race, Piloto, who did secure the fastest lap, did get a massive penalty, remember, which dropped him from P2 right the way down to P6. So he lost out quite substantially. Still gets the points for finishing, but also points for the fastest lap. But it's going to be Kai Bacchini with a massive 44 points to his name for the overall weekend. He's going to take the overall weekend win, with Piloto still in second on 26 points. Dave Fossetti Tate, who gets P3 with a 22. Lando's in fourth, DePayne in fifth, Avier 6th, Marquez 7th, Foxy 8th, Jeb 9th, and Roshko, the only other person to get points, in 10th place. Then it goes Azia, Tiger Jr., Raven Duck, Burrito, Bandito, Half Lapis, Tortor, Tiger Racing, and TNMO. And that's it for the F2 cars, but don't go anywhere. We are about to get underway with the F1 races, so stay tuned. Be right back shortly.